Everybody wants more success, more money, more opportunity, more responsibilities, more influence. But here's a question we don't ask enough. If life gave you everything you're asking for today, are you strong enough to carry it? Because a tree doesn't hold up thousands of pounds of branches, leaves, and fruit without a strong trunk, and neither can you.
Empowering you to live a life fully charged. This is 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life with L.J. Tucker.
Welcome back to another episode of 7,000 Volts, Living in an Electrified Life, where we explore one simple idea. Nature has always been our first teacher. We talked about branching out. We talked about roots. Today, we're talking about the structure standing between the two, the trunk. Because the trunk has one enormous responsibility. It has to carry the weight, and so do you. What people see when you walk up to a tree, one of the first things you notice is the trunk. It's visible, it's exposed. You can touch it, you can measure it. I'm measuring trees all the time, measuring for the DBH, because the DBH tells me a story. As an arborist, the trunk can tell me a lot. I look at the structure, its tapers, its wounds, its cavities, its decay, its unions, its response growth. Because what looks strong from a distance may tell a completely different story when you get closer. And people can be the same way. The problem is people don't have a trained eye for trees. This is where I come into play. This is why I get called, because they can have a tree that's so far gone and they're oblivious to it. I went into a doctor's appointment the other day, and when my appointment was over, I said, "Do you park in the middle of the parking lot?" And the doctor responded, "Yes, why do you ask?" I said, "That's not a good place to park. You got a tree that's 70% dead and you're parking right underneath it." And the funny part is the landlord or the insurance is not going to pay for any damage to your car. Your car insurance has to foot that bill. She's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "It's the act of God, but you have to be able to see that tree that you're parking under." People are oblivious to the stuff that I see. We can look strong on the outside. Just because you see that trunk, it looks strong on that outside, while something completely different is happening on the inside. That's why strength isn't about appearance. Real strength is about structure. I'm wondering, what is your structure? So what is the trunk in your life? I believe it's yours. Character, your integrity, your discipline, your principles, your ability to keep your word. That's important right there. I had to learn that. And one thing I do with my kids is I keep my word. Your ability to make the right decisions when the wrong decision would be easier. Right. Because eventually, life is going to put weight on you. The question isn't whether the weight is coming. The question is, what kind of structure will be there when it arrives? Everybody wants a bigger canopy. Think about what that represents. More business, more money, more influence, more opportunities, a bigger platform, more people depending on you. But here's something I've learned from the trees. As the canopy expands, the structure supporting it becomes even more important. Life works the same way. We ask for bigger opportunities without asking whether we've developed the capacity to handle them. And trees don't go super fast. I mean, wheat trees do, like a Brazilian pepper or a carrot wood, a cherry laurel, China berry. They're very weak. They grow super fast, super easy. They cover ground. You think you got privacy, but it's fool's gold because it's a weed. It's just like the weeds, the grass, the Brazilian peppers, and the carrot woods, or the weed trees, which we call invasives. You want $1 million business. Can you manage $1 million business? You want people working for you. Can you lead people? I'm going to ask that again. Can you lead people? Can you manage the emotions of different people, different attitudes, different emotional needs? You want more influence? Can people trust your character? You want a bigger platform? Can you handle the criticism when everybody doesn't agree with you? They might not like the hat you're wearing. You want more? Then become capable of carrying more. Because sometimes the opportunity isn't the problem, our capacity is. The rings tell a story. Cut across the trunk of a tree and you'll find growth rings. Year after year, season after season, the tree records history. Good news, difficult years, periods of strong growth, periods of stress. The tree carries evidence of what it has lived through. So do we. I have rings. I don't have on my wedding ring right now, but I have other rings. You have rings. We just can't see them. Every disappointment added something. Every mistake taught something. Every victory built something. Every difficult season left a mark. And here's what I've learned. You don't have to be ashamed of your rings. They have evidence that you were here. You lived, you learned, you survived, and hopefully you grew. Scars don't always mean weakness. I still have the 4 scars on my fingers from when I got electrocuted. I've inspected plenty of trees with wounds. Lightning damage, storm damage, broken limbs, old pruning cuts, flush cuts, mechanical injuries. Some wounds have serious problems, but I've also seen trees respond. They develop new tissue around the injuries. They're almost like scabs. You know, you cut yourself on your arm, there's a scab that grows over it. Well, when you prune a tree properly, it releases this chemical and a scab grows over it to seal that wound. They develop new tissues around the injury. They adapt, they continue growing, and that's life. Some of us has scars. Things happen. People hurt us. We made mistakes. We lost things. We failed. But your scars doesn't automatically mean you're weak. Sometimes your scar is evidence that healing took place. You don't have to pretend the wound never happened. Learn from it, grow from it, and keep moving forward. It's important not to ignore decay. I have a friend, hopefully I can get him on the show one day. Last Christmas, he docked at a dock from his boat. He stepped on a rusty nail. And about the time help came, went to the hospital. Long story short, they told him, he said, we're going to have to amputate your foot. He's like, no way, you're not cutting my foot off. And that was the recommendation. So he said, I'm going to try other things to try to save my foot. And so 6 months later, the decay spread it. And so he wound up losing his leg all the way to his kneecap. It could have just been his foot, but it was all the way to his kneecap. And he has the most positive attitude about it. He still goes boating. He's got a prosthetic leg. He's still working. His spirits are high. I was like, man, it's amazing. I brought that up to say, don't ignore decay. Now, let me give you the other side. As an arborist, one of the things I don't ignore is decay. You know, because a tree can look perfect, fine from one side, while internally its structural strength may be compromised. That's a powerful lesson, because people do this too. We become good at appearance. We looking good, we smelling good, we got on a nice hat, or a nice shirt, a nice dress if you're a woman, and I'm fine. Everything looks good. Business is great, family is good, life is great, But meanwhile, somebody say meanwhile, something inside needs attention. Resentment, pride, dishonesty, fear, jealousy, unforgiveness, poor discipline, whatever it might be, you can cover decay. But covering it doesn't make it disappear. Eventually, what's happening internally can affect your ability to carry the load externally. So inspect yourself. Ask the uncomfortable questions. Where am I weak? Where am I pretending? Where do I need to improve? Because self-examination isn't weakness, it's maintenance. Here's another lesson. Being strong doesn't mean being hard. There's a difference. Some people think strength means never showing emotion, never asking for help, never admitting that you're wrong, never changing your mind. That's not always strength. Sometimes that's pride. And I know I grew up with some friends. I grew up in a neighborhood, multiple different neighborhoods, that you had to look tough, you had to act tough, you had to have that attitude like you was always angry. You know, when I went into prison, I had this tough face, like, you better not mess with me. You better not mess with me. But that's the appearance. It just radiated. I wish you would look at me the wrong way. I just had this angry Mr. face. But as I transformed and I had got a new ID card from prison, it's a different one. If you look at me now and if you look at me then, the appearance is just like I was always ready to fight. I was always ready to something to jump off. You know, you make that phone call the boys, bring the crew, meet me down here on the corner on 6 or something like that. And before you know it, like, we getting into something because I don't like the way he's looking at me. I was never really a big instigator, but I hung around other friends that were instigators, and we always had something going because we had to be tough. We had to look tough. And so because of it, being tough brings unwanted problems. That's pride. A healthy tree has strength, but it also has flexibility. When the wind blows, the branches move, the tree responds, because something that refuses to move at all can eventually break. Life requires a same balance. Stand firm in your values, but remain teachable. And that rings a bell. A book that I read by his first book, Dr. Wayne Dyer, Erroneous Cells. There's a part in the book that says, stay a beginner. Because when you stay a beginner, you're teachable. And I'm going to leave that alone because you want to remain teachable. An old man said to me in prison, he said, man, I'm 90 years old, man, and I'm still learning. Let that sink in. He's in prison, and he's giving me this wisdom. He's still learning. You never get old. You never get too old to learn. When you get to the point that you can't learn anymore, you're dead mentally, physically, and spiritually, and maybe even, maybe physically, is when the day you stop learning. But keep listening. Be strong. Don't become so hard that life can't teach you anything. I'm still trying to get that frown back off my face. It's like I can feel it in my jaws because they clenched up because I was trying to make a point and develop and deliver this message. I have to relax my cheekbones because I still feel them burning from when I was just trying to look a certain way. I want you to think about your own life, though. What are you carrying? A family, a business, employees, children, a marriage, a dream, the community. Maybe you're carrying responsibilities nobody else knows about. And sometimes it gets heavy. Instead of asking life to make the load lighter, maybe sometimes we need to ask, how can I become stronger? More disciplined, more knowledgeable, more patient, more emotionally mature, more financially responsible, more dependable. Because sometimes the answer isn't a lighter load. Sometimes The answer is a stronger you. Nature always has a way of teaching us. And the trunk teaches us to become strong enough to carry what we're growing. The tree doesn't complain about the weight of its branches. It develops the structure necessary to support them. And maybe that's a lesson for us. Stop asking only for bigger opportunities. Start building a bigger capacity. Stop asking only for success. Develop the character necessary to sustain success. Stop asking for one more. Ask yourself, who do I need to become to carry more? So this week, I'm going to give you some homework. I want you to look at your life like I would look at a tree. Inspect the structure of your life. Look beyond the appearance and ask yourself, where am I strong at? Where am I weak at? Where am I growing? And where do I need some work? Because your roots determine what you're connected to. Your branches determine where you're reaching. But your trunk, oh yeah, your trunk determines what you're capable of carrying. Build your character, protect your integrity, strengthen your discipline, learn from your scars, deal with the decay, and keep growing. Because maybe the question isn't when my opportunity comes. Maybe the question is, will I be ready to carry it when it does? I'm LJ Tucker, and it's 7,000 volts living an electrified life. And until next time, go out and be a good human and stay electrified. God bless.
This has been 7,000 volts, living an electrified life. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. For more information, visit us on the web at ljtucker.com. Remember, stay electrified.